Hey guys, back again. Well, guess what? I recorded the first part, but the mic in the OBS was had another auxiliary mic, so for some reason, and that led to a double audio stuff. Okay, so we had and my bad was that I didn't check before. I thought it was going to work, but it took the mic twice, so we had an weird echo. So, well, I'm going to try to make this one faster. So, anyways, so remember we have this application, okay? And we can add posts and all stuff. I already created a new one, and let me just go to home, okay? And we can just edit this. It's going to open. Where is going to open that? Okay, it's not going to open anywhere because this should toggle this form, which isn't. So, yeah, let me just pick an image. This is way too big, so let me just pick this one, open and update. It's going to redirect. We need to click this. For some reason, they already added that redirection and it's not working too well in this case. So, well, we will see maybe later. But we can edit the image, we can edit, I think, everything. So let's just focus on setting up everything. So let me just close this. So what we need to do, and I have all this, okay, inside the console. You need first to install Laragon. I'm going to make this video faster, guys, because I can barely freaking speak. So here on Laragon download this one. Already comes with Apache 2.4, Nginx, MySQL 5.7, PHP 7.2, which you can update later, Redis Memcache, and Node 11, which later you can update, okay? So, but I'm using a Node version. Okay, this is the problem that I had with the other application. Let's say a Node -b, Node version, npm version, something like that, right? 6.9, and let's say Node version, Node-b, not that b, 12.5, okay, because this is my main installation, okay, but you shouldn't have any problem if you are only using the npm from the Laragon, okay, but you can install, I mean, Node.js from Laragon, but you can install Node.js separately and you can use that, okay. So what you need to do is install Laragon. You can just download that, okay, the full is free, and install it. It's just an installer. You can just hit next until you're done. You don't need to configure anything, and then come open Laragon, which I have working or running, and start all. It's going to start Apache and MySQL, and you can go to database, create here a new session. Okay, I have this one that I created before, YouTube, and create a new database. You can export also, and you should be able to import. I don't know where the hell that is, but okay. And you can create a table, okay? If you have a new, if you click here, you can create a new table. If you click outside, why the hell I'm not able to create a new database? Oh, I think I know why. There's a weird stuff with this. Let me just close this. Let me just, well, I should be able to go to here, a new, let's call it unnamed, and open, and this should be, and you can now create a database. You need to create a new session, and then you can create a new database, which is a database, something like that, okay? And then you can start working and connecting to this database, okay? You can see that it's empty. Here you can create a new table, okay? But we're going to do that with Sequelize itself. So I created this, my new database in the last video, so I think we're going to use that because the one I have for this application is called posts, okay, which isn't a very good name. So that's the only stuff you need to do there. Create a new session, then a new database, and you should be ready to go. So, oh, and one more thing, let's just make this faster, guys. Sorry for the guys that don't know too much what we're doing or what is going on, but just follow along, and this is pretty straightforward. So I already have the node modules and the package.json, okay? So in order to create the package.json, that is going to be the first file to create, let's say terminal, or let's just open a new one. Okay, let's move this one out of the way. Let's create a new folder, fancy name there, and we open our terminal. This one comes with Laragon, and say npm, see, npm init -y, and it creates the package.json. And you can see this. Now you have this package.json. This is the other application that we're going to use as reference. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is just give you all these dependency, guys. So you don't have to install all that by hand, saying npm install bcrypt, course express, npm install express-jwt. Okay, what you could do is once this video is up, it's going to have the dependencies in the description. Just copy that, come here, add a comma, and paste that, and just say npm install. Okay, so you would say something like this one is running npm install. Okay, and that is going to install everything that is added here. Okay, so that's the stuff, and we are not going to save that one because I already have all that. But it's just it's just that thing that you need to do. So let's remove that folder, and you can see this is the package.json that I have. So let me just close this and open this with code. So it opens on its own stuff. Okay, this is not working. This is not all these errors are because we had those files and I removed them because the freaking audio was doubled. I don't know how the hell this called. So we have all the dependencies here that are installed with npm install. And let's initialize this stuff. So you already know how this application works. I already closed that. And you can check that on the 2 videos before this one, okay, to see how that works. I also created a new database with Laragon there, so you can just see. Let's just move this one here, so you can just see how to add that in those videos. So we need something here. We need an index.js. Okay, from this index.js, we're going to add. Okay, I should have, no, I don't have that opened. I closed that, okay. We're going to start adding stuff that we need. So I'm going to make this video faster because, well, you can see it's late already. So let me go to my index.js and I'm going to explain all this stuff as I paste them. So inside this index.js, we need to require the stuff that we're going to use. So first, express from express package the routes from this folder that we're going to create in a bit. The out routes also are going to live inside the routes folder course, which is going to allow us, if we want to return JSON at some point and remove the views that we're going to create inside this application, it's going to allow any front end to be able to connect to this API. Okay, so we can create, update posts, we can authenticate users and add users. Okay, so a course is going to allow us to do that when we want to change all those stuff. So we have Express, which is going to be the instance of Express server itself. And yeah, pretty much it. We're going to just take this one out because we're going to check this one later. It's a little bit more complex. Right now, we are only importing inside this index what we're going to use, okay? And this handy storage, let me just go here. It's going to allow us to handle this similarly to something like a state, okay? It's going to allow us to access from anywhere the state between quotations, the state that we're going to have inside the application. This is later going to be handled by express sessions, okay? But right now, for us to see what is going on, we are going to use handy storage, okay? So we're going to config that later. So let's just also do this. Okay. We will need the sync for Sequelize later, and we're going to copy all, or I'm going to copy and add all this. So these are the static folders. Everything inside these folders is going to be reachable by the application. Okay, the application will be able to enter inside these folders and grab whatever we want there to display them. Okay, I'm using 3 different folders, but you can just add, for example, the public, add these two inside the public folder, and then you will be granted access to anything that is inside the public, including all the folders and files and whatever. Okay. The next stuff is, I'm going to type this one, app use, request, response, and next. Okay. And I forgot the next. Maybe that's what happened. Okay. Something that happened in the last video that happened to be the double audio. Okay. So you will never see that, but I had an issue. Maybe it was because I didn't add the next. Okay. So response stat locals. What is locals? Token, no, token. Storage. Let me just add this. State that token. And you can see we're using kind of this state, okay? Because it's what handy storage is going to be giving us. So you can think of this as some kind of front end integrated with a state integrated inside this node application. So it's going to allow us to think better in terms of a separate front end, because you will need to handle stuff inside an state if you are in React. Also, if you are in Vue.js and inside Angular, you will need to have to handle that inside your services. So you will have that decoupled of the rest of the application. Okay, so this is kind of something that resembles that stuff. That's why I'm using first handy storage. Okay, because you will see, and if you're a front-end developer, you kind of understand this. storage.state.user.email. Okay, so what is locals? So is rest that locals and then the name that we're going to give it. Okay, what we need to access inside the locals. So the locals are going to allow us, or are these golden variables that are going to, or globals that are going to allow us to grab some part of information and use them in order to handle different responses inside the HTML. Okay, so it's something like the state inside React or Vue, or the interpolation inside Angular. Okay, you will be able to handle changes inside your HTML using these globals, or in this case, you could call it globals because you have access to them, but yeah, are called locals because are locally to the application. So yeah, you will use these ones on the front end to handle maybe to show login, logout, and all that stuff. Okay, essentially, and we will need to add next here because we want to move to the next stuff. Okay, although we don't need request there, but let's just keep it like that. And we will need the main routes. Let me just copy this, paste them. So abuse whatever that comes to this slash and don't have the out, okay, it's going to go to routes, and whatever has the slash out is going to go to these routes specified in the out routes file. Okay, we don't have that. We're going to build that or add that in a bit. And finally, the app that listen, that right now is fixed to listen on the 4000. We will change that later. So it's going to just display this. So let's hit enter and let's take a look. Is this one? Not the index. Cannot find module routes. Okay, because we don't have that. Routes, we create a new folder and we create not a new folder, but a new file inside that called routes.js. We need another one that is out routes.js. No, it's out, only out. Rename, just like that. Let me just go to my routes. And we're going to do this right now because we can do it. I'm on my routes. So I'm just going to import the express, record it, okay, and add it inside this constant. Then the router is going to be the instance of the express router. Okay, so we can move between different routes inside our application. We're going to set the post controller and the token middleware. This one is going to be later. Okay, in a bit. Okay, the post controller, and we're going to add the first route. Let's add only the first route. Router that get. We're going to use controllers here because it's going to allow us to make this file look cleaner and to have all our functions inside another file. Okay, so post controller that get all post. Okay, that is the name of the function that we're going to use. Module that exports equals router. Okay, and we're going to export whatever this router object has. So it's going to be exported, so we can use that inside our index, and we can reference that inside our routes. Okay, so let's save that. We only have one now. I'm just going to make it like this so we don't have to change much of that. And we're going to return only some JSON or something in this route just to see that everything is working. So we need to create a new folder called controllers. We add a new file called post controller.js, and let's add the out controller right away. Okay, we click the post controller, select that, and we start with the setup that we're going to use. So what I think I could do now is just say constant post controller equals an object, and let's say get all posts, and say request and response. So this is a function. Okay, let's add a comma below this so we can add more later. And response that sent all pass or posts routes. Let's just send that. And we will need to export default, if I remember correctly. Yep. Let me just copy this. Well, let me just type it. Module that exports post controller. Okay, and we have that. So she's going to complain again. Yep. Router that use requires a middleware function but got a object. There's also let me just focus on this one first, and let's just do this. Server on port 4000. Okay. It's complaining because the other one didn't have anything and was just a file, you know. So HTTP localhost 4000. Storage is not defined. Okay, but we can see something inside our localhost now. So it says on not Sequelize index.js 1724. Okay. Storage is not set. Okay. Why this is not set? Because we don't have still the handy storage configured. So what we can do is just say this, and this should restart. Second a bit. Okay. I hit enter because sometimes it kind of gets stuck. Okay. So if I do this, you can see, or you will see that we don't get any error, and we show all routes, all post routes, which is the only route we have so far. But that is working. Okay. We have our application now listening on port 4000. Although well, let's just do this. Okay. And you can see we have router use requires a middleware function but got an object, and we need to add something also on the routes inside the out.js. Okay. So we're going to do the same. Express and router. Okay. And router that get. So let's say register. And we're going to say a out controller show register. Okay. And we're only going to to add this route only to stop the application to complain about that. And we have the controller already, so let's add something for the controller. It's going to be the same constant, our controller, and equals to show register request and response. We add a comma here because we're going to add more stuff later, and response that sent. This is going to be the register form, the register view. Okay. I remember I didn't add. Okay. Let's go to index, and we're going to add. I already have. Okay, I don't have anything there. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I will show you in a second this route, but let me just, because I forgot this, we're going to set the view engine, what is going to render HTML, to be PUC. So what is PUC? So let's say PUC. Well, let's open PUC to HTML first and say PUC npm. PUC is going to allow us to render HTML. Okay. So this is what was called Jade. So you only need to kind of understand how this is set. So you can see it's going to be handled with indentations. So inside the HTML, we have the head, and inside the head, we have the properties like title, or not properties, sorry, the tag title. And we say equals if we want to add something. And you can see these are kind of blocks that are handled with indentation. Whatever is indented inside these blocks is going to be rendered inside the tags. Okay. So let's go to out register, which I already have. Okay. Our controller is not defined. Okay. Our controller is not defined. Routes IIS 4. Routes IIS. Out. Okay, because I didn't add that. Okay. Let me just go back to my routes and add my controller, because remember that we have already the controller also in this one. So we need to do the same with the controller of the out routes inside the routes themselves. Okay. So out register should give us something. Okay. I think I didn't export that. Let me just handle this stuff first. Register, show register. Show register. Constant post controller and constant out controller. Out controller that. Okay, why is not showing the show register? Oh, because I'm not exporting that module that exports equals our controller, and we get that. And if I say that, it's going to now show me the function, and this should work. Okay, you can see no error. And I can just refresh this one and it's going to show me what I typed inside that route. Okay. So here is where we're going to handle the authorization and authentication stuff. And inside the other post controller is where we're going to handle the update, the files, and all that for the posts. Okay, everything that has to be with the post is going to be handled here, and everything about the authentication is going to be handled here. Okay, so continuing with what I was explaining, we're going to use Pug as the HTML rendering or the view engine. We're going to use course just to have that set here, and we're going to use express-json in order for our API to handle JSON responses. I mean, JSON requests or anything that comes into our API with JSON. Okay, so that is the stuff. And we're going to handle this one later. Okay, I just had those ones in place to explain you kind of how it's going to be set. But once we add, let me just check the time. 30 minutes. Okay, let's freaking do it. We have this constant storage that is complaining here because we don't have that. And we're going to add a new file or a new folder here called libs. And inside this, we're going to create a new file that is going to be called handy storage.js. What is going to happen here is that we're going to initiate the handy storage. And we're going to require, just like that, constant storage is complaining because we don't have this equals new handy storage. And we can say beautify, beauty, beauty, file to true. So we have indentation there and storage that connect to. So here we add the file which is going to store what we have or what we want to keep, and we're going to call it state.json, and it's going to be inside the root folder. Okay, and we say module that exports equals storage. So we have this already set. It shouldn't complain. Okay, server on port 4000, and you can see that it created the state.json, in this case with an empty object. So we will see later how to add stuff inside this file so we can keep kind of a better look on how everything is working. And later, as I said before, we're going to move that to express.json. That essentially is going to just do the same, but first we will be able to see with this approach how we're going to handle and reach well, how the process is going to be done. Okay, because this is the same that express.json, express-session or express session, sorry, is going to be is going to do, but in the background. Okay, so we have, I think, everything. The application is opening without any errors now on port 4000, and we have two routes that aren't saying too much. Okay, cannot read property email of undefined. Okay, because we don't have anything inside the file yet. So let me just check. Yeah. So, okay, let me show you. This is the file that we're going to use. So this is the state.json, okay, and it's going to be storing something like this. Okay, right now, maybe I will later remove this because we don't need the posts here. But we need the user, the ID, and the email, okay, in order to display a few stuff. And this is the token that we're going to save. And for example, if you are on a React, Angular, or Vue front end, you will send a request and the API is going to send you the JSON Web Token that is this one, okay? You will need to store that JSON Web Token inside your state or your service or whatever and send that together with any request that you are going to send, of course, to the API, okay? So this is going to kind of emulate what a front end that is separate to the API is going to do, okay? So you will also handle the user and the email and the ID maybe in order to show stuff on your API, on your front end, sorry. So this is something similar to is going to happen, that is going to happen inside the a separate front end. And inside the API, we're going to check the validity of this, and we can also refresh the token if we want. If not, we can just dispose this and give the user another token. That is the simplest way without too much effort that we're going to do later. So this is how the file is going to look. And you can see the error that cannot read property email of undefined because still we don't have this user and is looking for the email, okay? But we will do that later. Right now, what I can do so we don't get too much stress because of this, we already have the handy storage already and the file is created. So let's just take down the locals, okay? Let's just take the locals down and just keep them there, and we will later see what we need to do in order to continue working with the state, okay? So in the next video, I think we're going to handle the Sequelize connection, maybe. Yeah, we're going to handle the Sequelize connection and see what we need to do in this version of Sequelize in order to connect and to create the tables and all that, okay? So I'm going to give you also, remember, this object that you only need to paste and run npm install, so you don't have to type everything and install it manually. So with a simple npm install, you will install all the dependencies inside the package.json, okay? So I think that's going to be it for this video. I was planning to record 2 videos today, but it's already late, so I won't be able due to the problem I had before with the audio. So sorry guys, this is going to be the first video, the setup to have the application running. And if I do this, it's just going to show me the routes because now it's not looking for that specific configuration inside the file, okay? But everything is in place. It's only a matter of configuring as we go. So I hope this does not confuse, or this do not confuse people. But if you have any doubt, just add a comment and with your specific doubt, and I will reply you as soon as I can. So thank you guys and see you in the next one.